We know how this stream works. All right, I think we're live. Talk to him, talk to him, talk to him. Mickey Ficky. All right, guys. Y'all know how I like to have an aesthetic background. I gotta clean a couple of things. Can't get it all clean, but you know how we do things. Woo. TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, my backup page on YouTube. How are y'all doing tonight? My name is Kojo Sarfo, and this is the Late Night Show with Dr. Kojo. Every stream is the Late Night Show with Dr. Kojo. Austin, how are you doing? Austin's checking in from Missouri. Austin is an OG around here. I truly appreciate your attention, Austin. Also, I appreciate you as a human being. So today we're going to be talking about the link between undiagnosed autism and depression, and why I believe that recurring episodes of depression could be a sign of neurodivergence, specifically autism. And there's a lot of things that we got to fix when it comes to healthcare. A lot. To name a few, everybody who comes to the clinic with depression should be assessed for bipolar disorder. Everybody who has been depressed for a long time should also be assessed for autism. Anybody who gets a psychiatric evaluation should automatically be screened for autism at that time. Not assessed, because it takes a while to get the assessment. I get that, but you should be at least screened for it. You should at least be screened for it. And in my most recent video, when I'm talking about the undiagnosed autistic person, I led off with the symptom of somebody who's been diagnosed for a very long time, because first of all, when you're autistic, the way that you communicate with the world is a little different from how a neurotypical person would communicate with the world. So because of these differences, and because you are a whole different type of person and you experience the world differently, it'll be hard to, it's going to be hard to just gel with neurotypical people. And not to say that neurotypical people are aliens or like they're here and we're there. I'm not saying that, but the neurotypical world is the one that we live in. So if you don't mask at work, people are going to call you rude. If everybody's eating in the break room and you're just, on your computer doing your work that you're supposed to be doing, people will think to yourself like, yo, like, who do you think you are? If you don't engage in small talk, you're a weirdo. You're a freak. OMG, my husband loves your content. Shout out to your husband. Shout out to all my TikTokers. I appreciate you. Help me to understand him better. The world's mine. I appreciate you. And that is the goal of the content. That's the goal of the content. When I get messages from, that's a raven outside, threw me off. When I get messages from wives who say that the content has helped them understand their husband a lot better, that's cool. When I get comments from people who say that the videos have helped them understand their kids better, their coworkers better, that's super cool for me. The one thing that I haven't gotten yet that I'm waiting for, hopefully y'all send these videos to your boss, without getting fired. But I don't think I've ever gotten a comment from a boss saying, "Thank you for your videos about neurodivergence. I finally understand my employees better." I've never gotten that. Jay Quams! Shout out to my brother Kwame. Hey, Kwame, we're streaming on Twitch live every day. My Twitchers, come out. You Ghanaian. Of course, I'm from Ghana. Ain't nobody with the name Kojo who's not from Ghana. W stream. Everybody who's on Twitch, let me just talk about my Twitch stream for a second. We will be streaming on Twitch much more than probably any other platform coming up here. I just spent too much money. I don't even want to talk about it, but I spent too much money on some equipment so we can do IRL streaming. to bring you all into my world. Come out to the events that I'm at in Los Angeles, and everybody that I hang out with is neurodivergent. Y'all will see. Like, I've said it before as a joke, but no, everybody that I hang out with is neurodivergent. How else are they able to put up with me? So we all speak the same language. Oh, yeah, Kwame. She is right. It's time. I need all my neurodivergents to come together. And on TikTok, I'm a neurodivergent that runs a hotel, and we celebrate all of our neurospiciness. There are so many advantages to celebrating yourself first and foremost, but like the topic tonight is how depression is a sign of undiagnosed autism. It's because you're in spaces that aren't congruent with who you are as a person. So you gotta adjust, mask, become a whole new person just to fit in. When you do this over and over and over and over and over again, you lose track of who you are. That is depressing. Not all depression is fixed by Zoloft and Prozac. If you're not living a type of life that you feel is in line with who you are, you're going to be depressed. Austin said, I'll say it to myself since I am my own boss. Right. Hey, if you are your own boss, send this to yourself so you can understand yourself better. And Bridget says, I have learned more about my autistic friends from watching videos. We love that. We love that. TikToks, so much love. I appreciate y'all. So much love. Someone says solutions. I'm going to get to the solution. I'm getting there. So if we're talking about the depression that comes from being shoved in a world that doesn't accept your neurodivergence, the cure is to find a community where you feel like you can be yourself. All right. So we don't condone any type of homophobic speech or any type of racist language. Or, like when I say be yourself, I'm not saying, use that as an example to just do whatever you want. Right. But when you can be yourself and you can joke the way you want to joke, you can hang around people who don't take you too seriously. You can hang around folks that make you feel like, okay, yeah, life is worth living. This is cool. That is going to boost your self-esteem. You will be able to get things done. Abby Bean, what's up? How are you? If you're neurodivergent and you struggle with executive dysfunction and you can't get things done, like right now, I got a whole bunch of clothes right here. I took it out of the frame because I don't want y'all to see it. So nobody on TikTok can see how dirty this place is. On Facebook, y'all could see a little bit about how dirty it was. And I adjusted the camera because I don't want y'all to see how dirty my place is, right? If you struggle with, clear your place, the dishes, all that stuff, yeah, it's going to mess with your self-esteem because you think to yourself, damn, I can't even clean my own room. I can't even clean my own environment. But when you hang out with people who allow you to be yourself, you feel more of yourself. Guess what? It becomes a little easier to do your chores. It becomes a little easier to do your taxes. It becomes a little easier to go to work, even when you don't feel like going to work. Like that is the cure to that type of depression. And the saddest thing about the system today is you can go in with depression that's secondary to just being an undiagnosed neurodivergent person. And they're going to give you a questionnaire. Oh, someone said they'll clean my house for me. They'll give you a questionnaire and you'll fill it out and then they'll send you out in 20 minutes with a prescription for Zoloft. And they're like this. Not knowing that you don't need medications. You just need people who care about you. You just need to be able to take off the mask without being judged. Hey, you Love Ash says, I'm struggling with cleaning my home. See, if Love Ash on TikTok says that they're struggling with cleaning their room and I'm having a hard time cleaning my home, we can swap. I can come clean your house. You can clean my house. Do you actually take on patients? I will in select states coming up here shortly, Washington, Alaska, and Arizona. And as we can expand, we'll expand. But I make sure I don't take on more than I can chew. But I love seeing patients. I do. And Kelly says, it's so much easier to clean. Kelly, I got I got some clothes here for you to fold, Kelly. And it's not, misogynistic, because I'll go and, I can vacuum Kelly's house. I don't like the dishes, but I can vacuum. Let me see. I can lift heavy objects around Kelly's house. I just don't like to fold, and I don't want to. I don't like getting like when I do the dishes and my hands get like. I don't like that, and I don't like folding. I don't like doing laundry. So, Kelly, I'll move your stuff if you can. Help me out. Help me out. And also, if you're undiagnosed autism or ADHD and they don't do a thorough enough assessment, they'll just give you an antidepressant, which is not going to help you out. But I take it back. I take it back. It can help you out, but it may not get to the root of the problem. That white dress and then another dress. I'm preparing for a wedding. I gotta reply to messages at the same time. Something fancy. Oh Lord. Can I be ADHD? My daughter autistic. Yeah, neurodivergence runs in families. So if your daughter got it, it's coming from somewhere. Maybe you or dad, but it's coming from somewhere. Lorianne, how are you? How are you, Lorianne? I have major depressive disorder and have been on so many antidepressants. Still have issues. Late diagnosed ADHD. Finally decided to get checked for autism. Been putting it off, but I know I am autistic. I prefer to be alone, and I am a homebody. That sounds autistic. That sounds autistic. People tell me if I do not hang out with people, they will stop asking me to hang out. Sounds autistic as well. I am fine with that. Friends will support you no matter what. Thank you for right. A friend will support you no matter what. But sometimes people don't understand you. So if they don't understand you, they'll think that you're just trying to ghost them. Veronica, I love the show to Veronica on TikTok. Just got released from inpatient rehab therapy. Chat. Drop some W's in the chat on both Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, wherever you're at for Veronica. So W's for Veronica. W like George Bush. Hey, Josh, what's up? Josh got to see his son for the first time in 3 years. Congratulations. I remember that from yesterday. How should I start if I have some concerns? Okay. Ooh, well, I've spoken about this before, but we can talk about it again. W's for Veronica and W's for Josh. If you are starting from like the beginning and you've watched these videos and you feel like you can relate to everything, the first thing to probably do is to, don't blame yourself, right? Do the inner work over time. This is a process to liberate yourself of any guilt and shame you have for finding this stuff out, late in life or later in life. After you do that, you want to do a Google search. What am I diagnosed with? Being handsome. I'm kidding. I have ADHD, Adam. Once you've accepted yourself and you push past the shame and guilt, then you do a Google search. You look for either psychologist or psychiatrist near me. You can look on Psychology Today. Look for people who are doing ADHD autism assessments. Look for somebody who's doing a psychiatric evaluation. And if you can find somebody in your area who is doing this, it could be telehealth, it could be in person. I would recommend that you write down everything that you're struggling with before you get to your doctor. Because once you get to your doctor, what's going to happen is your mind freeze, right? Like before you get into the appointment, you know everything that you struggle with. You know that you have a hard time socially if you don't mask. You won't get friends. You know that you have a hard time waking up in the morning. You know that you have a hard time starting things. You know that you lose things easily. You know that you can't stand being around large groups of people. You know that you like to eat your food a certain way and you have to like cut them up into pieces and you put them off to the side. You know that you don't like when certain foods touch, and you know, like you have all these idiosyncrasies, which you know could be the signs and symptoms of the neurodivergence. But you want to write these things down, because before before you go in, you feel good, like you remember everything. But the moment you get there, you don't you don't know, like you forget. All you know is that you feel like you have this thing. Shelby says, Shelby, man, I've been around the world and I'm back again. I've been around the world and I'm back again. Hello, I heard you got married. Who said that? Shelby, this is 3 days in a row of streaming. I feel like I have, the right team around me to, to do this streaming thing every day, like once a week at school, but I don't do it every day, at least Monday through Friday. So we'll be doing IRL streaming on Twitch. I don't know if we could do IRL streaming on the other platforms. Enchanted Mystic Music, I appreciate you. So I need to look into the rules and of all the different platforms, but we will do IRL streaming and we'll do body doubling streams. I've been thinking about this idea for the longest, and we just never did it, because I just never did it, right? When you're neurodivergent, you have all these plans that you want to do, and you're like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. Right? So on those body doubling streams, we just turn the camera on. I'll have Chandler and the team just record me, and I'll be working on my tasks, my daily tasks. Like I'll make videos on the live stream. I'm not going to use the restroom on the live stream, but I'm going to make videos on the live stream. So all the videos that y'all see, that I'm making, whether it's in Alaska or LA, we just cut the cameras on. And if you're watching me make videos and you're neurodivergent, it should help you fold the clothes. It should help you do the dishes. Yeah, Veronica on TikTok is correct. We work better under pressure and last minute. Yep, that's true. That's true. How do you keep on track with daily tasks? I struggle so much. So, guys, look, if you are good with pattern recognition, you will do well in life. So, the reason why, I think people think that I make money when somebody gets diagnosed. I don't know what industry other people are in, but you don't get paid based off of how many meds you prescribe, or you don't get paid if, like all these people got diagnosed with autism or ADHD. It doesn't work like that. You just get paid hourly, or, if you have your own private practice, you get paid based off of who you see. Like, I don't benefit by telling people that they're autistic, but I benefit from telling people that they may be on the spectrum. Then they go get the, assessment, and then they learn themselves more. When you learn yourself more, you're using pattern recognition. You know that you've been diagnosed with this. You know that when people chew loudly in front of you, you don't like it. You know that when you wake up in the morning and you work out, you feel good that you can get things done. So when you use pattern recognition, you can put a system together that allows you to do every single thing that you want to do. So I know myself. I know that when I'm on, like, if I'm watching like a live stream or something, it helps me get things done. So that's what we're going to do. We're just going to leave the camera on, and we're just going to leave the camera on and let people see what I do. Because if you're neurodivergent and you judge yourself based off of how productive you are in a day, you're going to be depressed. Like I said, how undiagnosed autism masks itself as depression. You're going to be depressed because you're expecting yourself to be a bit more efficient and effective, but you can't get anything done. So now you're sad because you feel like you're defective. But if you know that you do better around other people, now you got the live stream going, now you got the video, whatever. So now people are doing things, and then you're out here getting things done, because you can see that 96 people or 100 people are on Facebook, 109 are on TikTok, or whatever is, the number on what platform. But if all these people are on live stream, then everybody's doing something, right? I'm folding this right here. I'm packing my clothes. I gotta be in Atlanta this weekend for see, this is why the IRL streaming is a great idea. And I'll answer y'all's questions about assessments. I'll answer in just a second, but let me see what Shelby said. Shelby's the OG. I think I have my suspicions about autism or BPD, but I really just want another label or another diagnosis. Oh, you don't have to make it your whole personality, but when you know that, like you know, you have ADHD, you know to plan things a certain way, right? You know that you should set a fake deadline for yourself. You know, if you have to catch a flight, don't look at the boarding time. If you have ADHD, don't look at the time of the actual flight, like the departure or the boarding time. No, you got to give yourself a fake deadline before the flight. And this is why this by doubling thing, like, is going to be helpful, because you need to see other people mess up. Like, I think y'all need to see me spend 4 hours looking at the wall, and then I make a video and I post it. And it looks like I'm being productive, but I'm not. I'm like thinking, I'm like, oh, I'm running. Boarding time is always 45 minutes in advance. That's smart. You take patience. Sarah, in certain states, and we'll get a link. I have a friend of mine working on a new website for software psychiatry. And yes, I have ADHD. We've covered like 30 topics in 3 minutes. But yeah, I got a friend of mine making a new website for the psychiatry. So we'll have that in the ADHD coaching in there. Obviously, you know, I can't stream me seeing patients, but I will stream me seeing fake patients. So we will give people fake scenarios, and we will stream that as if it's a real assessment. So I think that'll be helpful for y'all. Like, I'll show y'all what a real assessment looks like. Fake patients, real people, right? But, you know, like everything is show business, right? They'll learn the script and they'll know what to say, but we'll do an assessment on live. We will do an assessment on live stream. I think that's going to be hella dope. Shaylee, you rock with that? Yep. Yep. We will do an assessment on dope. I volunteered. Shelby, like, you got to play a fake patient, you know, because I can't like actually, you know, diagnose Shelby on live in front of the world, you know, like that's like a HIPAA, you know. But if it's you know, instead of Shelby's Ashley, you know, like somebody who is, you know, we can make something work. But back to what I was saying, when you're neurodivergent and you know yourself, it allows you to have a plan. Matt, what's going on? So like, I know that I have. Oh, Shelby, you'll pretend. Okay, Shelby, it'll be good to have you back on stream. We'll definitely do that. And we'll also do it on Twitch too. But when you're neurodivergent and you know yourself, you tend to succeed because we have strengths and we're bright, we're brilliant, we're geniuses, but we're just not in like the right situation. You know, so like I said, this weekend I have to go to Atlanta for a wedding, right? Actually, no, not even this weekend. Tomorrow. Look at me saying this weekend. I'm about to. Oh, I'm not going to miss this flight. I gotta go to Atlanta tomorrow. Tomorrow for a good buddy of mine's wedding. All right, and I'm going with you know, my old lady, a special lady. You know, it's not my wedding. It's not my wedding, but I'm going with my old lady to the wedding. I'm too old to be saying girlfriend, you know. Like, you gotta say partner at some point. And I'm from the South, so you know we call her old lady. She's not old lady. Like, she's not 50. Well, 50 is not old. I'm sorry. 80 years old is old. 80 years old is old. I was about to say 50 is old. Y'all were finna beat me up. But my old lady, OL, you know, we're going to Atlanta for this wedding. We'll be there for 3 days. She does not have TSA pre-check. And she's on the spectrum, so she's not the earliest. Well, she's earlier than me. But I have ADHD, and I'm late to almost every single thing. Atlanta Airport is the busiest airport in the world. If you don't have TSA pre-check at the Atlanta Airport and you have ADHD, you are cooked. You better come to the airport 6 hours in advance to get through TSA. And I'm seeing people on TikTok, Atlanta Airport is brutal. Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal. You need TSA pre-check. You need clear. You need a 504 plan. You need everything to get through the Atlanta airport. So we're going to have to show up hella early to the airport because I know myself. I'm not good with time. I could be on live stream. I'm just not that good with time. So I have to put together a system that allows me to get to places, on time. Like, y'all tell me if I'm crazy. Let me let y'all know what my plan is this weekend. I plan to fly to Atlanta Airport. We get there like Friday early morning. I have to drive from the Atlanta Airport to some location like an hour away for wedding rehearsals, right? So I have to go like learn the dances and do all that. Then, we're African, right? And my homeboy Kevin, we're all from Ghana. His wife from Ghana, everything Ghana. So we don't have just one wedding. We have two weddings, right? We call it a traditional wedding. That's an African wedding, and then we have like the white wedding, the American wedding, right? His wife is not white. It's just called the white wedding. Shelby also missed her flight in Atlanta. If you missed your flight from Atlanta Airport, you're just a regular person because Atlanta Airport is just too much. But we have the traditional wedding on Friday. Then we have the white wedding on Saturday. Then after the white wedding ends, maybe like in the late AM hours, I plan to drive to Augusta, Georgia to pick up my dog, Zoe Shiesty. I missed her. I've missed my dog. I plan to drive to Augusta, Georgia and pick up my dog and come back to Atlanta, Georgia and then drop her off at the family's house. Somebody can watch my dog for me. And then I plan to drive to, it's not Turner Field anymore. It's, what's it called? Truist Park, the Braves Stadium. I plan to drive to the Braves Stadium, go watch the game, and then get to the Atlanta airport without trying to miss my flight. That's a lot. That's a lot. But that's what we do when we have ADHD. We feel all this inspiration, and we think that we can do every and anything. And I know that I can do this, and I probably will. I probably will. Someone says I'm cooked. But see, if I'm on live stream during this whole time, and I'm not sure if we can start the IRL this weekend, probably not. But if I'm on live stream this whole time and people are watching me, they're gonna say, Kojo, hurry up, like you're running out of time. Get to the airport. The whole chat will be saying, hey, there's a lot of traffic in Atlanta. 285 doesn't look too good today. Hey, your old lady doesn't have TSA pre-check. I can catch the flight. She's gonna be stuck in Atlanta. How are we at the same airport, but in a long distance relationship? That drive to Augusta is not boring. I don't mind that drive, 20 to Augusta. That's not a boring drive. Becca, how are you? Missy says, just make sure you pack your bag the night before, you're ready beforehand. That makes it a little bit easier for you. Oh, I'm not even packed yet. I forgot to tell y'all that. I'm not even packed yet. So I'm not even packed yet. Kaylee, I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Kaylee. Kaylee on Facebook. I appreciate you. Let me see. See, I do this trick where I will plan to stop somewhere on my way. Right. But if you're body doubling, it'll help you out. It will help you out. It will help you out. But see, that's why I do feel like everybody who has ADHD, you need an autistic partner or a friend. Because if you're late to places and they have a good routine, you have to make sure that your mental health conditions are compatible. Lindsay is saying, you talk about when depression is undiagnosed autism. I have a son who's autistic and has recently been seen for depression. I also have been treated for depression most of my life, but I highly suspect I'm autistic. So, Lindsay, I will say this. The thing about depression, and I've mentioned this before in another video, but this is a new audience here today. Like in the DSM-5, major depressive disorder is, fatigue, loss of energy, sadness, loss of interest, isolating, maybe poor appetite or eating too much, maybe poor sleep or sleeping too much. All of these things, right? The depressive symptoms for the better part of 2 weeks. That's major depressive disorder. So if you are, Lindsay, I'm just going to guess. If you're 40, just guessing, Lindsay. If you're 40 years old and you've been depressed for like 90% of your life, how is that major depressive disorder? That is not MDD. Yeah, you're depressed, but the depression is secondary to something else. Something else is causing the depression. And it could be neurodivergence, but also it could be environment. So much could be happening. A lot could, account for why you feel out of place. There's a million different reasons as to why somebody could be depressed, but I'm seeing a strong link between undiagnosed neurodivergence and depression. And I'm not seeing other people see it. A couple of people, like the other healthcare professionals who post here on TikTok, yeah, but I'm not seeing enough people talk about it. And the advantage of getting the diagnosis, and I think for autism, like I get it, right? You pay so much money to get the autism diagnosis, and there's no medications for it. So people are like, yo, like what the hell? Like at least ADHD, you get diagnosed and you have the option to do meds. But with autism, there's no medications for it, So people are like, why do I need a diagnosis? You don't need a diagnosis, but when you get the diagnosis, it's a term that better explains the majority of the symptoms that you exhibit. So because you have an explanation for who you are, you're not beating yourself up anymore. And that makes you feel a lot better like that. It actually works faster than medications. And then if you do need medications for autism, the meds are normally things that help you, not be so irritable and anxious. Because when you're up here and you're frustrated, your ability to communicate is down here, right? So if we want to go up here with communication, we have to go down with the irritability, right? And Lindsay says, I am 41. See, I got a special talent. I can just tell women's ages, and not saying that I can accurately guess, women's bra sizes, but every girl I've dated, I've guessed her bra size correctly. So maybe it's a neurodivergent talent. I don't know. Maybe God just gave me like the brain to like know brain, bra sizes. It's my little special talent. Kelly says this is so true. I was self-medicating through alcohol for years. Yeah. When people have to resort to alcohol, weed, pills, things to help them feel better, there's a good chance that those are all undiagnosed neurodivergent things. I'm a texture eater. Yeah, that's me. I don't like certain foods. Oh, be careful with the talent of guessing women's bra sizes. Yeah, it's a private talent. It's not a talent that's for sale. I keep those talents to myself. It's just it's me and my old lady. Like it's a private talent, but it's a talent that I've been blessed with nonetheless. God is good. Are you also neurodivergent? Yeah, of course I'm neurodivergent. Like, how do y'all think I'd be able to understand y'all? I'm a part of the community. Shanika says, I was just speaking about this today. My last relationship, I kept telling him I honestly believe I have ADHD. He told me I was exaggerating because it wasn't the hyperactivity. For 2 years, I thought I was crazy and just stopped talking about it because he made me feel as as if I was crazy. Okay, so that's another thing about neurodivergence. So you can say it's with ADHD as well, but if we're trying to stay on topic and talk about when depression is actually undiagnosed autism, if you feel like you have a condition and you keep explaining it to somebody, hey, I think I have this, and you're doing it for months and years, and that person doesn't believe you, and let's say you do find that you have that condition, you're gonna be finally relieved, like I knew I had it. I knew I had it, but I just didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to see. And ADHD is also a spectrum as well. Neurodivergent and in menopause. Ooh, yeah, that can be difficult. Anything that will alter your mood on top of neurodivergence. Oh yeah, it can be life can be very difficult. But ADHD is a spectrum, just like autism, because you have the hyperactivity side of things. California is my home state. Los Angeles is my hometown. We're not set to take patients in California yet, but we're in California, so we'd like to get there eventually. If you are the average person who thinks about ADHD, they think about like the hyperactive boy who's like making a lot of noise. Like if somebody's doing this in class, they're gonna get an ADHD assessment at some point. They're like, like that person's brain is working really fast. It's like, all right, you can tell that their brain is working fast because they're all over the place. It's kind of like that Cups movie where it's like, whatever they do in that movie. Y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. But if you're all over the place, people can visibly see that your brain is working hard. If you're a woman, and the majority of women who have ADHD do present with the inattentive symptoms, if you have the inattentive type of ADHD as a lady, you're not going to be bouncing off the walls, but you will be bouncing off the walls internally. So you're struggling to focus. So you start one thing and you can't see it through, and you start something else. You can't see that through. You start a third thing. You cannot see that through. So now you've started 3 things and completed nothing. It's taking you longer to get your homework done. It's taking you longer to read. You may have to reread lines. You may have to, like erase your homework, or sometimes you may have been on the wrong page for 30 minutes. You're twirling your hair, you're stimming, you're in your own world. And you don't get things done until there's either a severe consequence or a deadline, or something makes you have to do the thing because of the urgency. So if you're disorganized, but nobody can see that you're disorganized, your brain is working twice as hard as the average brain. Your brain is working as fast as the kid who's all over the place, but people can't see it. So you're going to be chronically tired. Have you ever met somebody who's just always tired? I mean, you might be the person who's always tired, but you're always tired, or that person's always tired. A lot of times it could be because your brain is working so hard. So that's why, you can take a stimulant and it can quiet things down in your brain. And now you're like, yo, It's pretty cool. You're like, wow, like my brain is not that loud anymore. And it's weird when that happens because you're like, yo, you're not used to your brain being so loud. Like you're able to slow down and you're able to process things. And you're like, hey, hold up. All right. So I have 4 things to do today. But the most important thing to do is to pay my rent. Because if I don't pay my rent, I won't have a place. All right. So if I can pay my rent today, but I don't fold the clothes, I'll be okay. All right, cool. You go, you pay your rent, you come back in the house, you look at the clothes, you're like, I don't have to fold the clothes. I can fold the clothes, but I don't have to fold the clothes. So not because you don't have to, you're like, all right, okay, I don't have to fold the clothes, so now I will. But when you feel like you have to do something and you have a hard time prioritizing, yeah, that's how we become so tired. That's how we become so tired. And Missy says, OMG, some days it drives me crazy because I've started 12 different things. And sometimes I feel like I'm wandering aimlessly. My mind is thinking about so much. It's exhausting. Yeah. And that's the thing that you see with not only ADHD, but also autism. And this is also one of the things that makes you depressed because you're always tired. So at a certain point, you do become depressed because you're not getting anything done. Right? Because confidence comes from repeated self-achievement. When you say that you're going to do something and you keep doing it, you become more and more confident because you have evidence that you are that boy, that you are that girl. Like, all right, I said I was going to do these 3 things and I did all these 3 things. Like, I'm good. Yeah, this is who I am. I'm confident. I'm good. I get things done. When you tell yourself that you want to do something and you don't get that thing done, and it goes on for days, for weeks, for years, you start to tell yourself that you're lazy, you're unreliable, you lose trust in your ability to do things. You don't trust yourself with anything because you know that you're going to start something and you're just going to like bail on it. You know that there's no point in writing a book because what's the point in writing a book? I'm going to stop on like page 4 or whatever. All right. So you lose ability and like you lose faith in yourself. You don't think you can get things done. And that drops your self-esteem this way. Down, 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 down. And then when you're down, it's so much easier to stay stuck and to be depressed because you're already down there. It's very difficult. So this person who's been dealing with the undiagnosed neurodivergence and they're down here and low self-esteem, they don't feel confident, they say bad things about themselves, they start things and they never finish it. That person goes to the doctor, but they're tired. So the doctor gives a questionnaire and they see that the person is tired and that the person has poor memory and the person is sleeping all day. And then the doctor says, oh my goodness, this person is depressed. Thank goodness that you came to the office. Here's some Zoloft. It'll take 3 to 4 weeks and you should start seeing something and then we can go from there. But I'm happy that we treated your depression. The whole time the doctor got it wrong because they saw depression and they weren't wrong, but they didn't get to the root of the issue. You got to get to the core. You have to go in and like pull it out by the root, but you can't pull out something that you can't see. Right. So if you're blind to the fact that there's potentially some undiagnosed neurodivergence, your patients are cooked. Your patients are cooked. Hey, Kaylee, actually, let me talk about the podcast. We have a podcast, but anytime somebody says "but," you're like, all right, what's coming after this? We have a podcast. We haven't made an episode in like a couple of weeks. Our system was not good. I didn't have the right like editors and like all the proof. Now I have a wonderful editing team. I have a better system. We still got some kinks, but now I have a system that can get a podcast out. It's organization. It's organization. And that's something that when you're always tired, like, Ayla, what's going on? Shout out to Ayla. Ayla, I hope you got that photo of Marcus Mariota. I'm trying to show my mom that photo. That I know somebody who knows Marcus Mariota. The podcast, right? I didn't have the system. And because I have ADHD as well, and sometimes my brain is just tired, it makes it hard to make decisions. And when you struggle to make decisions, guess what? You take so long to make a decision. Like Ayla, who was afraid to talk to Marcus Mariota, but I'll let her slide. Right? But when you do things in a row and you pick up momentum, you gain confidence, and then you're more decisive. And I told my team, I said, this year I want to work on being more decisive. I need to be better. And we had an editor, and we had one editor. She wasn't what we were looking for. But at the same time, I could have put her in a better position. But either way, she wasn't what we were looking for. I ended up having to pay her. Like, I paid her to not work. so I can find somebody else. I'm like, Kojo, put the right horses in place so that we can do what we have to do. So yeah, this podcast, it'll be so much easier to do a podcast now, actually. So yeah, I love to get going with that. I love to get going with that. Ayla says, hire me as editor. Does that show that? Someone says, OMG's Akon, and they done pinned that. Young. TikTok. Y'all got my ass. That's funny. I'm not even gonna take that down. I'm not even gonna take that. Yeah, y'all got me. Y'all got me. Ayla, I can't make any promises, but I was talking to my team about you. I was like, we should hire Ayla. And I'm not even in charge of those decisions anymore. I gave it up because, like, my brain, I just need to be making content. But should a position open up, I'm gonna think. Yeah, I'm gonna think about you, Ayla. Everybody else, I don't know, but I know Ayla. Like, so, Kaylee got a degree in video production. Oh, okay, all right. Hey, we'll see now. We'll see. I like the video where she was pointing to art. Oh, y'all enjoy the skits. You were structure, guys. Oh, Ayla, I hope you get that internship with the Blazers. That'd be dope. That'd be hella dope. Y'all better stop with Akon. He doesn't only. I love when y'all in the chat cooking me. Oh man. Brandy on Facebook. Brandy Burner, you got it. Brandy, you got it. Brandy. You got it. Oh, the dance. What did I say? I forgot what I say. I had a good thought. Do you have a cousin in Dallas named Yao? I don't know who the hell. I don't know who Yao is. There's a lot of Yaos. Currently been trying to advocate for myself with my psychiatrist. Any advice? Write down. Oh yeah. I was talking about structure. You see, I'm getting distracted. Write down everything that you feel now, because whenever you get in front of your doctor, like, you don't know, like, it's hard. You don't know what to say. I remember when I was in college, I wasn't going for ADHD. I think I was going for like I just like, I felt sick, so I was at the urgent care. But like, I was having nosebleeds and everything. I know what was going on, but I could not explain like my symptoms to the doctor, because she was a baddie. She was like 5'4", thick, light skin. I was like, ooh. So she made me nervous. I couldn't really talk, so I didn't know why I was at the urgent care, but I was like, damn, like, Dr. Bad, So like, that's one time when I got nervous in front of the doctor. I should have written down my symptoms beforehand. But before you go to your psychiatrist, just write down everything that you think that you're struggling with, and then, like, there's nothing wrong with taking out the sheet paper and saying, like, hey, like, I wrote down these things because this is what, like, I struggle with. It's actually a smart idea, especially if you have a lot of mood swings, like a little mood journal, because you'll know that last week you felt funky in a couple of days, but you don't know, like, if it was like back to back. Like, you just know that you felt funky mood wise, not like how you smell, but you just know that something was like out of whack, right? So it's helpful to write these things down. Kaylee Robinson, I appreciate you. Smack that all on the floor. No, I wasn't able to holler at her because she was my doctor. I wasn't able to holler at her. Like, I had to keep it professional because like, I was a student too, so I just had to keep it. Had to keep a G. But I mean, I was like hoping that maybe she like pull my pants down, or like she's a doctor, she gotta assess me and stuff like that. But I had a sore throat, so I don't know why she would pull my pants down. I don't know why she would do that. Suddenly I had to stop smoking cannabis. Okay, all right, okay. So the video about how to stop smoking, the Mary Jane, gardening. In that video, I was just talking about why I started and how it helped me. Because it can be helpful for, like mood swings. It can help you sleep. It can help with appetite. Um, and when you're high, you don't have any problems. Like if you're high and you're broke, you're not broke. You're just high. If you're high and you're, you know, going through a breakup, you're not going through a breakup. You're just high. If you're high and you're dealing with grief, you're not grieving. You're just high, right? So it masks everything, helps you sleep, so on and so forth. But it just got to a point where it was like it wasn't helping me out, and it started to hurt me, and it removed my ability to do hard things. To my mama, call her back in a second. My mama on TikTok live. Normally, I have my burner phone, but I lost that. I gotta lift my burner phone before I go to Atlanta. I think I'll need my phone. But yeah, you tend to self-medicate with the Mary Jane when you're neurodivergent, because it helps with the mood swings, it helps with the frustration, it helps sometimes with executive dysfunction. I think it can help. Kaylee, I'm gonna answer my mom. Don't worry. It can help, but it probably will do more harm long term if you don't regulate your use of it. And most folks don't. Most folks, like, you just get high and like you just never stop getting high, and then it becomes harder to remember things. You become less articulate. You have a harder time explaining yourself. When you're neurodivergent, you already have a limited ability to communicate, not with the things that you already are interested in, but the hard stuff, right? So everything that you want, the weed to help you out with, it actually kind of holds you back long term. But a lot of people don't think that there are any issues with it. And people say it's harmless. That is not a good estimation. And someone saying MJ didn't work for me. I think it's because I have bipolar 1, especially if you have bipolar disorder or schizophrenia. I hate that this has to be a genetic segregated thing. I don't know what the right term is, but especially if you have bipolar disorder or schizophrenia, like honestly, just even in your family, because it can lead to psychosis. It can lead to you hearing voices. Right. It's like another form of escapism. Not if people are using it recreationally and you waited until you were like 26, 27, your brain's fully formed. And then like every third Saturday of the month, you and your friends get up, y'all get high as a kite. Everybody's having a great time. Will you have the cognitive effects that somebody who's been smoking every day since they were 11 would have? No, you'd be in a much better position, right? Not saying you should do that, but people tend to start young and they just never stop sometimes. Asking for a friend, are you single? The chat can answer that question. And yeah, it also increases the risk of a heart attack. Gardening. Who would have thought? Alicia, how are you doing? Who would have thought that getting high could lead to a heart attack? That sucks. That really sucks. I went to Augusta University for my DNP, Doctor of Nursing Practice degree. Can someone have ADHD and be on the autistic spectrum too? Yes, you can have both. In fact, I feel like if you have ADHD, you should be assessed for autism. That's what I think. Every Mickey Ficky in here with ADHD should be assessed for autism. Alicia, I'm good. I'm vibing. I get to be in Augusta for one day this weekend, so that's cool. Maybe that's all I need to be Augusta for. I like Augusta, but I don't need too much Augusta. I love y'all. Back on Mike Padgett Highway. I love y'all. I love y'all. Can FFPs work in outpatient psych? I don't get this question often, but I'll give you my honest thoughts. I don't know. I mean, you can, but I don't know. Oh, you're coming to California. Congratulations. When you come to California, life starts. So family nurse practitioners, yes, they can work in psych. there's such a the shortage is so bad. It's like, yeah, if you're a family nurse practitioner or if you're a family practice physician, yes, all hands on deck are needed with psych. Honestly, if you know how to fix cars, come to the hospital and help us diagnose. If you know how to, do construction, we need you diagnosing at the hospital too. If you know how to play video, if you're a streamer, hey, I can teach. Guys, the shortage is so bad. So if you're an FMP, yes, I think that you are more than qualified to be working and helping out in psych. The thing that I will say is that I want to beat around the bush. I want to be as direct as possible. Psych is not easy, and you can't go from being like FNP, just doing family practice, and then one day you decide to wake up and you start managing complex psychotropic medications. I mean, it's gonna blow your mind. Also, it's not good for the patients either, right? If you're used to as an FNP, now some FNPs have more experience in psych, so I can't speak for everybody, but if you're an FNP and you're not too used to I think most FNPs are comfortable with ADHD and things like that. I think I'm not sure, but if we're talking about long acting injectables for antipsychotics, if we're talking about mood stabilizers, the Depakote, the lithiums, like when it comes to stuff like that, no, you need to know what you're doing. Those are heavy psychotropic drugs. They're good drugs if you know what you're doing. It's kind of like a car, right? If you know what you're doing with a car, you're gonna get from point A to point B. CC, I appreciate you on TikTok. Thank you. But if you don't know how to drive a car, you're a hazard to yourself and everybody else on the road. Like before I could drive, I remember I took my parents' car to QT gas station during church. I couldn't drive yet, so I was driving with my right foot was hitting the gas and my left foot was hitting the brake because I couldn't drive. I was a hazard to the road, right? I shouldn't be admitting this on live stream, but this is what you do when you're young. So likewise, if you're an FNP and you're managing heavy psychotropic drugs and you don't know how to do it, you're not helping out the patients. But if you have a lot of psych experience and blah 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 and so on and so forth, yes, then you're an asset because the shortage is really bad. Is really bad. Is really bad. Libby, this is comfortable with ear infections are weak. I am in the shoebox, Lisa. Favorite part of psych, I think I like inpatient more. It's hard to do inpatient with social media and everything that I have going on. I get to do it now, but I won't be able to do it for too much longer. But I think I like inpatient more. I think, but I mean, I could do psych in my sleep. I like it in general. Katie, ooh, yeah, just throw questions. I got ADHD, so I'd be all over the place. So the laptop is charging good. The phone's charging good. Okay, all right. Why is narcissist autistic relationship dynamic so common? Do you think autistic people are targeted by people with narcissistic tendencies? What a great question. Do you think autistic people are targeted by people with narcissistic tendencies? Yes, but I don't think a narcissist is out there looking for autistic people. I'm trying to find somebody who's on the spectrum to manipulate. A narcissist is gonna target somebody who, low confidence, doesn't believe in themselves, somebody who takes pride in helping out other people to their own, detriment. Somebody who's a people pleaser. Those are folks who tend to, be recognized by the narcissist. And then they put you on a pedestal and you feel so special, and then that's how they get you. And a lot of autistic people, especially when you're undiagnosed, you're at a high risk for just manipulation in general. you know. So it's anybody who, you know, if you use self-deprecating language, you're at a fairly high risk for those types of relationships. Traumatize people. And also, if you're neurodivergent and you were undiagnosed for a long time, there's a good chance that your parents are probably undiagnosed neurodivergent folks. And when you don't have the diagnosis, you don't have an explanation for the things that you do. So a dysregulated parent, what is a dysregulated parent going to do? They're going to come home, they're going to scream at their kids. And, back in the day when, you would spank kids, like I think nowadays you can't spank kids, but when you used to spank kids, sometimes like, like a little, to like not let the kid touch the stove. Yeah. But a dysregulated parent who was behind on bills, who, has been heavy into the substances, that type of parents are going to beat their kid. And, it's not like, you came home with a D. It's like, beat their kid. I'll just leave it there so that way, like we're able to keep the lab going. But that type of a parent is going to probably be the first narcissist that the, undiagnosed neurodivergent person encountered. So that's how you receive love as a kid. So you grow up and then you tend to look for that in other people. That people pleasing thing, because you kept trying to please your parents. So that way you wouldn't get, beat or hurt or, or put out the house. Yeah. Kaylee, it's funny how we live in the same life, huh? All of us neurodivergent. If I'm neurodivergent, will my children also be neurodivergent? How do I stop the cycle? Well, first and foremost, you want to procreate with somebody who is not neurodivergent, because it runs the families. But you could have two people who have ADHD that could have 3 kids that don't have anything, And like in school, we used to do the little Punnett square. Remember that? The Punnett. I didn't learn, like, like I remember that we had to do it, but I can't think of what the Punnett square was. But people will try and say, oh, well, like just a chance that, numbers are numbers, but you'll know who's gonna have what. You could have 2 folks with no history of mental health conditions in their family, and their kid could have bipolar disorder. Like, so like I would just kind of go for like somebody that you rock with. And like I agree with Lisa on Facebook. I would, like, it's not a bad thing. It's a bad thing when, let's say, you're undiagnosed and you're so far away from the help, you're self-medicating, you're just up and down, and you're getting further and further away from the thing that will help you out. Then it can be detrimental. But if you're diagnosed and you have the right treatment, you're good. I promise you're good. I promise you. CC, do you think a service dog can be? Oh yeah. Pets in general can be very helpful. Pets can be very helpful. Is it okay for 2 people with ADHD to date, or is that a bad match? Y'all, come on. Those are the best relationships. The ADHD relationships are the best ones, as long as you have some awareness. But without having awareness about, how fast you're moving, or the love bombing that can happen in ADHD relationships, it can be really sad when the dopamine high wears off, and then the other person's like, "I thought you loved me," and you're like, "Yeah, you're cool. She cool." Maxine, what's up? My assistant of the job. Okay, all right. I'll be on for 5 more minutes. I'm supposed to be getting off, but I need to be on for 5 more minutes. As long as we're medicated. Not everybody has to be medicated, but for a lot of us, medications are very helpful. I mean, for me, they are. BPD is not neurodivergence, but I wouldn't put it under the umbrella of neurodivergence, but it tends to come with the neurodivergence, right? Because it's a personality disorder. So you go through so much trauma, so much childhood trauma, you're able to resolve it, and it manifests as borderline personality disorder. I forgot to do a water break at the 30-minute mark, y'all. but it's not anybody's fault because I took a long break from streaming on Facebook. So, my Facebookers have to remind everybody there's a magic word we got to drop in the chat for the water break. I'm drinking sparkling water. Like I like water these days. But if you're sipping a nice little beverage or whatever you got, coffee, that's okay. But somebody got to drop the magic word in there so we can get the water break going. And I'll answer some questions in the interim. Difference between ADHD and social disorders, being autistic. Renee, what do you mean by that question? I'm not sure. There we go. Libby got it. Cheers, y'all. Big cheers. Big cheers. Dapper Dan. Shout out to my guy Dapper Dan, who's checking in from Twitch. It makes me extremely excited that he's checking in from Twitch. Super excited. We have a comedy show June the 13th. 2 shows, a 6:30 show and an 8:30 p.m. show at the Alaskan Hotel and Bar. So Juneau, Alaska, come out. You get to see your local comedian Dapper Dan do his thing. I think this is Dan's first show. Yee! And I might stream that whole show live on Twitch because we're probably gonna do IRL streaming for that. So it's gonna be fire. It's gonna be fire. Jalapeno limeade with raspberry sparkling water. It's a very interesting combination, Shelby. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh, Lisa, yes, I gotta call my mom back. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you so much. I gotta call my mom back. Did you ever have the urge to change to social work during your studies? No, I did not. My grandma is a social worker, though. A lot of love for social workers. Were the signs of a mother who is narcissistic? Oh, a lot of blaming and shaming, guilt tripping you into doing certain things. Maybe putting you, you and your siblings in competition against each other, comparing y'all. Normally, the narcissistic mother either comes from a traumatic childhood, or she probably was in a traumatic relationship or marriage for a long time. So that's the thing with abuse. Like when you stay in abuse for too long, in an abusive environment for too long, you tend to inadvertently become abusive to other people. And sometimes the kids gotta pay. Unfortunately, I hate that, especially when it's kids. I hate that. Yeah, I gotta call my mom. Oh no, I'm not skipping Seattle. Libby says I'm treating Seattle like a sneaky link. No, actually I am, because I keep coming to Seattle. I keep coming there, 5-6 times. I keep, I got spend the night in Seattle. And Nikki, you can't get this live stream like on Facebook. You can watch it from the beginning. On Twitch, you can also do the same. And TikTok, I don't think you can. And my old lady keep texting me. So how much time I got? 1 minute. Man, I can't keep her waiting. Let me see. I want to reply to something though. Oh, congratulations to Dan. Chat, put the W's in the chat for Dan. It's his first comedy show. It's Dan's first comedy show. And he's been killing it out here. I've been in Alaska for back and forth for a couple of months now. And the comedy scene, we have a lot of momentum here. And like just in a couple of months, it's grown so much, and I'm excited. So shout out to my guy Dapper Dan. W's in the chat for Dan. W's in the chat for Dan. And I met my old lady because of Dan. It's a long story. I'm gonna tell you all that another day. But W's in the chat for Dan. W's in the chat for Dan. W's in the chat for Dapper Dan. Oh, verbal abuse with a narcissistic mom. Yeah. And Shelby says, my mom did all this and more. It's destroyed so many of our relationships on her side. Yeah, Shelby, it sucks because like it forces you, and Shelby, I know your content as well. And I'm a fan of your content. W's in the chat for Shelby. W's in the chat for Libby. W's in the chat for all the OGs, the day ones. But when you have a narcissistic mom and that relationship with your mom is impaired, it forces you to look for, love in the wrong places. You're just looking for people to protect you because your parents couldn't do it, your mom couldn't do it, and man, like it forces you to be the generational like cycle breaker, which is a lot of pressure on anybody, But that's how a lot of neurodivergent families are like, and a lot of times, if you're able to roll back the tape and look at how things, played out, you're able to see that your parents probably also were undiagnosed neurodivergent folks. So because of that, they probably didn't know what was going on and they were dysregulated. It doesn't excuse what they did, because trauma is never okay. You can never justify trauma. But if you understand, like why they did what they did, it positions you to be a better parent for not only for yourself, but really for the kids. Not and I also did not know that Seattle had 2 airports, I think. So I've been going to SeaTac, not Tacoma. So maybe in Tacoma it doesn't rain like that. Oh, Kaylee, my old lady is significant other. My mom is not old lady. Actually, my old lady is my mom. My OL lady is significant other. It's a difference. How is Alaska? Is it really dark out? Let me text her, let her know that I'm about to end live stream. What's time out here? 8:40. Alaska. How is Alaska? It's a wonderful place. It's one of the most beautiful places I've been to. Like I like it. Like I even wanted to stay here longer, but no, I'll go back to LA a couple of weeks and then go back to my sunshine. But it's a beautiful place. The people are very nice and friendly. The old ladies reminded me yesterday. I said I was gonna sleep at 9 o'clock here, and it's 8:41. Whatever. At least I tried. But Alaska's a nice place. The sun doesn't go out until like much later at night because it's almost 9 o'clock. But the sun is not out yet. Like it gets dark at like 10 o'clock. It's a great place to be if you want to be outdoors. The seasonal depression here, I see why people struggle with seasonal depression. I haven't gone. I don't think I've ever had a stretch in my life where I've seen this much rain. But maybe that's a Juneau, Alaska thing. And I think it's a beautiful thing, because in California, I started this year off having to be a refugee. I drove down to my buddy's house with him and his wife. They stay in Culver City. So I had to pack up and I had to evacuate because we had the fires. There was a fire 7 minutes away from my place. So when the whole city of LA was on fire, I was like, please, Lord, let me get some rain. Please, 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 God, let me get some rain. And then I came to Juneau, Alaska, and I'm like, man, like, it's a lot of rain, Lord. I didn't mean all that. I just want like a little bit of a sprinkle. I didn't want this Seattle times 3 rain. Like this is too much rain. It's too much rain. My uncle lived in Barrow. Oh, My goodness. Wow, 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 wow. Dale says, man, stop talking, or else your mama gonna be coming to spank you and your girl. Uh, oh, wait. You said my mama gonna come and spank me, and my girl's gonna make me sleep on the couch. Oh. Well, maybe if we can swap it around, if my mama can force me to sleep on the couch and my girl can, or no, I gotta spank my girl. All right, I don't know which direction we're going in, Daniel, but I don't think you meant for your comment to be going in this direction, but that's where my perverted mind took it. But nah, my old lady she understands. She hopped in the live stream now. She says she's curious. Old lady needs to be watching your live. Right. Yeah, I was asking for a lot of rain, but this is a lot. And 6 months in the dark, yeah, it's been an adjustment. It's been an adjustment, and even making content like it's like in LA, we have these daylight bright bulbs, so even when it's like dark outside, it doesn't stop recording. Like sometimes we'll record at like 10 p.m. because we're recording indoors, and like when this gets hit the internet, it looks like it was done at 2 p.m. because we have these super bright lights. I need those lights out here because I don't think this is daylight. This is not daylight. I know what daylight looks like. So it's just been an adjustment. But I think this is a good place. Alaska is a good place to practice, uh, you know, doing things when you don't feel like doing anything. Because when there's no sun out here, like you don't feel like, you just don't feel like, you just don't feel like doing things. And I've been spoiled in California with all the sun, Lisa, I got yellow light here, but this is not daylight. This not day. It's a social media thing. Like I need a certain type of light. It's a social media thing. Just stay away from. All right, so there's no grizzly bears in Juneau, Alaska, but they got the black bears. Smack that on the couch. How do you organize your life? Do you write everything down? Okay, this will be my last point here because this needs to be made. You can tell how stressed I am just by hearing that question. How do I organize my life? So I have a team of people that help me out, and they're like my extended parents because sometimes that's what they're doing. I have a virtual assistant, another assistant, and I have another assistant. I have like 3 people for structure, and I have a graphic designer, and I have a video editor, and then we have a proofreader now, so that way we can make the captions accurate for y'all. Because like one like typo on the video will drive me crazy. Like I hate it. I think we're missing somebody. I think that's all that we have in the team. And I have another employee who can help out with ADHD coaching on the psych side of things. So I have a lot of people who help me like organize things. But my thing is, I just not realize this. I struggle to like create at the same time that I have to do admin tasks. So right now, what I'm working on is getting off of the computer because I like to hire people to, look at emails, but then I'll stay up at night and I'll try and sneak behind my old lady back to go answer some emails on my own because I'm just curious. Like I just want to see like what's going on in the emails. But then like it tires me out. So now I'm learning to just like, all right, go to like this back up and just accept the help. Damn it, just accept the help. So we use a project management tool called Monday now. I like that tool because it can help to prioritize things. And for those of us who have ADHD, we're not doing the wrong things. We're just not prioritizing the right things. Like we're like we're everywhere, but we're not doing the main thing. Like right now. Yesterday, my plan was that I was going to be asleep in 13 minutes from now. I haven't even taken my trazodone or the melatonin. I have like 3 balls of melatonin somewhere here. So I gotta find the melatonin. I gotta find my backup iPhone. Then I have to pack for Atlanta. Then I have to make sure that I don't miss my flight. Uh, so I still need a lot of help too. Hopefully, me cutting the cameras on all the way and doing the IRL streaming will help me out, because then I can just ask the community. Like, I'll just be like, playing NCAA. Like, I missed a flight this year because I was on the video game. I was playing NCAA. The game was, like, the flight was delayed. Alaska Airlines delayed it. Then they brought the time back up without letting me know, and I missed the flight. Right. So, body doubling can be helpful. Just like having people who are like, hey man, call your mom. Call your mom. Y'all just told me to call my mom. I gotta call my mom. I gotta, make sure my old lady don't spank me. I literally never said autism and ADHD. This is my mom and it makes you real. Kathleen, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. But yeah, it's all about having a good system. So, is my partner neurospicy? I only date neurodivergent women. I don't date, other women. Women who, claim to have a full brain cell. I'm not interested in that. Why would I want a woman who is, neurotypical? I don't want that. Why would I want a woman who shows up to places on time? I don't want a chick who like files her taxes before the deadline. Nah, like I gotta call my mama too. I gotta call my mom. If you file your taxes early, I don't want you. If you show up to things on time, I don't want you. If you have full executive functioning, I don't want you. If your house is clean, I don't want you. Ayla. I'm weak. That's crazy. If your house is clean, I don't want you. If you got if you got a clean bathroom, I don't want you. you know, like, right. Libby says, right. Who pays taxes? If you don't wait until year 3, when's your last year to file your taxes? I don't want you. Nah. If you don't talk in movie quotes, I don't want you. Like, we gotta speak. We gotta speak the same language. Yeah, I ain't paid my taxes. I mean, I'm gonna file them and then pay them. But actually, Libby, I take that back. We don't want to go to jail, so we will pay our taxes. We just won't file them on time. Yeah. So we do gotta pay our taxes. So like at a certain point, you can cross the line. We gotta pay the taxes, but we're just gonna file it like a little late. We'll pay a penalty. Like, we're trying to help out the U.S. government. If I don't file my taxes late, then y'all can't get that. I'm trying to give y'all that extra bread. Try to help y'all out. I'm doing it for y'all. The ADHD taxes is crazy. I learned from my in-laws, don't pay taxes. Well, now if you write things off, like if you write things off the Republican way, sure, that's cool. But like, we can't not pay our taxes. Like, Dr. Cuckoo, what's up? What's up? I'm an empath. My partner is an ADHDer. Man, I was capping out to Molly. I was capping. If you don't break out, right? If you don't break out in a song when you accidentally say a lyric, exactly. Yeah, that's a neurodivergent way. Somebody will say a word. Somebody will say, man, Alaska is so dark. I wish we had some sunshine. And then the neurodivergent person across from them will say, I got a pocket for this, huh? And they start, you break out into a song. Like, if you don't stim, I don't want you. I do wake up with music in my head. Like, and it's random. Like, it could be Bill Withers. It's not normally ever Bill Withers, but it could be. It could be a Mac Miller song. It could be a DMX song. It could be a Taylor Swift song. It could be a folk music. There's always something in my head. A Lil Wayne song. I live in Washington. Gotta pay my taxes. Let me see. I'm a swerve in the corner. Whoa, whoa. Oh no, you talking about I'm walking on sunshine. Whoa, okay, that's a different whoa. Okay, that song's so fire. All right, y'all. I do gotta call my mom back, and I have to pack for Atlanta. And then, dang, I got a couple of things I gotta get. We're gonna live stream tomorrow. What time tomorrow? Okay. I'm gonna text my old lady. Let's see. Please remind me to stream tomorrow an hour early so I can catch my flight. Okay. NBA finals prediction. I'm going with the Oklahoma City Thunder defeating the Indiana Pacers in 7 games. That's my prediction. All right, y'all. I do gotta get off and I gotta go pack. So love y'all. I'll be on stream tomorrow for a short amount of time and a little bit earlier. But we will keep the consistency going. So Ayla, I know I gotta get off. I love y'all. Kaylee Robinson, come back to another live stream. Shout out to Libby, all the day ones. Morgan the Void. Take care. Love y'all.